Islam believes in indiscrimination of sex and gender and race and color and religion and culture in all fundamental human rights. Again, I would like to compare this study with the Western development and then coming to what Prophet Muhammad gave to the humankind. Let me explain that in the Western world, when did the women achieve the status of legal person? Legal person. I am quoting Cotterell, The Sociology of Law, 2nd edition, Butterworth, London, 1992, page 123 and 124. The concept of legal person, let me explain the legal concept. What does legal person mean? The concept of legal person or legal subject defines who or what the law will recognize as a being capable of having rights and duties. The one who possesses legal rights and duties is known to be the legal person. I would like to explain that this position, that when the women were given the status of legal person in the Western world, it would be a very interesting study. Just concentrate on few things. The concept of the Western world. In Britain, the women, they started their struggle to achieve the status of legal person and to achieve the right to vote. They started their struggle in 1897 when National Union of Women's Suffrage came into existence. And then in 1903, about 100 years before, just this century, 100 years before, Women's Social and Political Union came into existence. And then in 1918, House of Commons, they passed the resolution, the bill, where women were granted the legal status and right to vote. And the voting ratio was 385 in favor of women and 55 still against women. So Representation of People Act was passed in 1918, just 90 years before. In Britain, the women got the right to vote 90 years before. And still through this act, this right was given only to the ladies 30 years old. Ladies like Madam Khadija, not younger than those. Whereas the males, they were given they had the right to vote in the age of 21. And the army men people, they had right to vote when they were 19. But women were given in 30 years of their age. After that, the development took place up till now. Now coming to USA, the American Declaration of Independence, which took place in 1776, had no concept of women's right. Women were not a legal person up till that time. Richard N. Current, he writes in his book, American History, a Survey, 7th edition, New York, 1987, page 122. He writes, in colonial society, a married woman had virtually no rights at all. The revolution did little to change this. Then Jefferson's Declaration of Independence was only for the white males, not for women. Even white women, not for them. And it is stated in James Burns writes in The Government by the People, 15th edition, Prentice Hall, published in 1993, page 117. He says the declaration refers to men or him, not to the women. And then they say early American men would not accept the women, them as equals. Still it is written by John Blum, The National Experience, A History of the United States, page 266. In 19th century, the American ladies, the champion of the American ladies' rights, Susan B. Anthony, she was sent to jail in 1872. Anthony was sent to jail. She was given a punishment just because of the crime of casting the vote, because she had no legal right to cast the vote as a lady, as a woman, and she violated the law. Then 4th of June 1919, American Congress and Senate, they approved the 19th Amendment of Constitution, and there they abolished the discrimination of sex. Just 90 years before, today, 90 years before, the women in America got the right to vote, and they were accepted as a legal person. In France, in 1848, their new democracy was declared, but women had no right to vote. They got this vote in 1944 in France. In Australia, the women got the right to vote in 1921. The first lady was elected through this vote. New Zealand, the women got the right to vote in 1893. Finland in 1906. Norway in 1907. I'm talking of when the ladies and women got the right to vote and they were accepted as legal persons in these countries. Denmark in 1915, Germany 1918, Austria 1919, Canada 1919, Netherlands 1990, Belgium 1919, Switzerland 1971, Ireland 1918, Luxembourg 1919, Spain 1931, New Zealand 1893, Greece 1927, Poland 1918, Brazil 1937. I have given the list of 144 countries, quoting the dates when these countries' constitution provided the women right to vote. This is my own book on human rights. My own book on human rights. After concluding this aspect, now let us come to the Islamic position. You have followed that in all countries of the Western world, the history when women were accepted as a legal person and they were granted a right to vote, this history does not go back than 100 years or 125 years, whereas go behind 15 centuries behind, in the period of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Quran was revealed on him, and 14 centuries before, Quran and Prophet Muhammad declared the woman as a legal person by the words Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu iza ja'akal mu'minatu yubayyina. Here in this verse, the ladies were declared as a legal person by Holy Quran.